Hello and welcome to Dial C for Cricket. This is Amay Petkar here, and it has been just 2 days. It was just the second day of the third test between India and England, and we already have a result here as India have beaten England by 10 wickets in the only pink ball test of the series here. So India now made a sensational comeback after getting 36 all out in their last pink ball test. Now they walk into the next pink ball test and comprehensively defeat England here. There's a lot to talk about here. There's a lot to we can expect the experts to talk about here about the pitch being playing a major role here. The obviously players like Michael Vaughan are now going to come hard at the curator, saying that the pitch was not a day two pitch, it was a day five pitch. Even Graham Swan on commentary said that the pitch was more of day five, day six pitch. So, the spinners, it was helping the spinners more than what we would normally expect. And that was, the case here. Jack Leach, Joe Root, we saw how Joe Root bowled in the second innings, in the first innings of India, bowling India out for such a low total here. Just 145 in the first innings for India after being 99 for 3. I mean, and then you see Joe Root coming into the attack, and then we just saw what happened there. So, there's so much to talk about of this test. I'll tell you what, I was supposed to visit the match. I was supposed to travel all the way to Ahmedabad for the 4 days play, and look what has happened. The match has got over in just 2 days. Just 2 days. I mean, 5 day टेस्ट क्रिकेट होता है एंड यहाँ पे हम देख रहे हैं कि 2 दिन में मैच खत्म हो रहा है. मतलब क्या 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 ही बोल सकते हैं हम लोग. मतलब if we look at the top scorers of this match here, there were only 250s. One scored by Zach Crawley and the other by Rohit Sharma. Rohit Sharma was, I think he was the only lone batsman who looked in good touch for India in the first innings. Otherwise, Virat Kohli, Ajinkya Rahane, Rishabh Pant, all of them got out very cheaply there. So even someone like Shubman Gill and Pujara as well. So Rohit Sharma looked good, but as soon as Rohit Sharma fell, we saw the downfall of the Indian batsman coming in. So there is always that talk about pitch playing a crucial role, and that just was very evident there. So, but when we talk about the pitch, there are many other things that we should take in mind here. Two things I realized that players from batsmen from both teams played wrong shots. I mean, Rohit Sharma got out sweeping the ball. We saw Dom Sibley trying to play a nowhere shot, not even on the I don't know what he was trying to play there, but in the second innings how we saw Dom Sibley get out there. So, and then someone like Joe Root, Ben Stokes, all these dismissals. If we look at the England batsmen, most of them got out when the ball hasn't turned much, and that is where all that interest lies. That England batsmen have fallen only on the balls where the ball has not spun. So when you look at all this drama surrounding all the pitches in India, with all the experts saying that pitches in India should be banned, curators should not be, they should be suspended. There is going to be talk now that the test match has ended in just 2 days. There is going to be more talk and more talk. So let's just see what happens here now, because a 5 day test match ending in 2 days is going to cause a lot of drama. Ahmedabad could also get suspended. India could fall in the demerit points. They could get a reduction in the World Test Championship by 3 points because of the pitch not being suitable for test cricket. There is so much to talk about here. I mean, Virat Kohli didn't take, Virat Kohli, thankfully didn't argue with the umpires in this test match. Otherwise, he would have also copped up a ban in the next test. I mean, in the previous test, we saw how he argued with Nitin Menon, and we saw what happened. So, similarly, even in this test, something like that could have happened, but thankfully the match got over in 2 days. There are a lot of things to talk about, as I mentioned here. But we will also take a look at few stats here now that has come into play in this particular test match here. If we look at Ravichandran Ashwin, he has become the second quickest bowler to 400 test wickets. In the previous test match, he surpassed Harbhajan Singh, and he's very close now he's edging towards Anil Kumble, the record. He has set that record in his sights here. So the next set would be to achieve Anil Kumble's record. And furthermore, I think Ashwin has about 7 10 wicket hauls, and Anil Kumble has 10 10 wicket hauls. So he's just 3 10 wicket hauls away from beat surpassing Anil Kumble, even in that record there. So plenty of records. Ashwin has been that one big match winner, and we have seen here what Ashwin can do, and he has been sensational. You talk about the Australian tour, you talk about the England tour. There is so much Ashwin has contributed. In the previous test, we saw all those talks coming in about the pitch not being suitable, and then you have someone like Ashwin. He just walks in, scores 100, and sets that score apart for India there to win that previous match as well. So we'll take a look at Aksar Patel first of all. I mean, Aksar Patel has been phenomenal. He's playing his only third test match, or only second test match. His first test match was the previous test. He made his debut in the series, and in today's test match, he picked up 11 wickets out of the 20 England wickets. Can you believe it? I mean, 11 wickets out of the 20 wickets. I will say that again, 11 out of the 20. And that's for a bowler who is playing his only second test. So those figures are just phenomenal. And he has set a record in his hometown. He's playing in his home stadium, the Motera Stadium, or the Narendra Modi Stadium as they now call it. So Aksar Patel has looked phenomenal. But now with Aksar Patel performing, all being said, as soon as Ravindra Jadeja enters, he is going to be replaced. So that's one sad part. Even in Australia, we saw all these youngsters step up: Washington Sundar, Shubman Gill, Shardul Thakur, Mohammad Siraj. But then what happened? Once Jasprit Bumrah came back, once Umesh Yadav came back, Shardul Thakur was sent back. They released him from the squad. They asked him to travel all the way to Jaipur, play in the Vijay Hazare Trophy for Mumbai. So these small contributions come from players, but then in the end we see once the star players are back in the side, we eventually see them getting replaced. So Aksar Patel, I don't think that he I mean, they could always consider him, but once Jadeja is back, we might just not see that much of Aksar Patel. But given that in the limited opportunities Aksar Patel has got in this match here, in this series here, I would say he has been exceptional here. And we'll take a look at the scorecard here. So we can just have a run through of what went wrong for both sides here, what went wrong for England here. Okay, so we have got the scorecard here. I hope it is visible to all of you here. So Zach Crawley scored about 53 in the first innings, and then we saw how the England score just piled up here. Johnny Best, so not much of a contribution. He replaced Dan Lawrence, but then again, no contributions coming from Johnny Best. So Joe Root, I mean, there's this talk about Joe Root, that if Joe Root doesn't score runs, we often see England collapsing here, and that is the matter here. In the first test, Joe Root scored runs. England went on to win. In Sri Lanka as well, Joe Root scored about 400 to 500 runs in those two test matches, and England went on to whitewash Sri Lanka. So Joe Root, I mean, only when he scores runs, England, have gone on to win some matches in the last few games here. So in the second test, there was absolutely no contribution from Joe Root, and we saw what happened. And now similarly in the third test, no contribution from Joe Root, and that is what has happened here. And if you look at Ben Stokes, didn't play the first test. He played the first test, but if you look at Ben Stokes, yeah, I mean, he's not been bowling that much, and then again that's what has come into play here. He has not been scoring many runs, and with that senior player lacking now, with Joss Butler having returned back to England, someone like Johnny Best, so Ben Stokes, these players need to step up, and that has not happened here. So Ben Stokes not scoring much has also harmed the English side here. Then you look down the order, Oli Pope has, even he hasn't been scoring much. And then Ben Fowkes, in the previous game, he scored a 50, was sensational with the gloves, but then those, as we say that, the contribution with the bat not being there, even for Ben Stokes. So Ben Stokes, Ben Fowkes, all these rhyming players, they haven't been contributing much with the bat. If we take a look at India's bowling, Ishan Sharma playing his 100th test match, and then we saw Jasprit Bumrah not ball that much, but it was more of the spinners doing bowling most of the overs here. So Aksar Patel picked up 6 wickets in the first innings, followed by Ravichandran Ashwin 3 wickets. Mind you, they replaced Kuldeep Yadav with Washington Sundar, but Washington didn't bowl a single ball in this test match here. He was purely selected as a batsman, and that was clearly evident here. Aksar Patel doing the majority of the job here. If we look at India's first innings, Rohit Sharma, as I mentioned, was the lone scorer, and then all the wickets just piled up. As soon as Rohit Sharma was dismissed, I mean, they were 99 for 3, and then they got out for 145. So pretty average performance by both the teams in the first innings. But as we look at England's bowling attack, see, when both the teams went into the third test match at Ahmedabad, which was a pink ball test, we expected that both teams would play more of seamers, more fast bowlers in this side, less spin bowlers. But one team played about 3 spinners, that being India. They played Washington Sundar, Ravichandran Ashwin, and Aksar Patel, while England just played one spinner, and that being Jack Leach. They just played one spinner in the form of Jack Leach, and we saw here what happened here. Joe Root, a part-time off spinner, comes into the attack and picks up 5 wickets, whereas Jack Leach picks up 4 wickets. Mind you, if they had someone like Moeen Ali or Dom Bess, these figures would have been even better, and we might have just seen England restrict India for even a lower score than 145. So this is what happens. One team got it completely right, whereas the other team got it completely wrong. So I think that's where the difference lies between both the sides here. But given that both sides have batted poorly, we just cannot neglect that fact here. Moving down, England's second innings, which happened today, and they were bundled out for just 81, with Aksar Patel picking up 5 wickets and Ravichandran Ashwin picking up 4 wickets, and Washington Sundar, okay, mind you, he actually balled 4 balls and ended up picking up a wicket here. So no pacers being introduced here. No Ishan Sharma, no Jasprit Bumrah, and similarly, even when India came out to bat, they just had to score 49. And we saw Jack Leach and Joe Root open the bowling from the other end here. So you see, there is just so much we see here that both teams have batted poorly, but and I really don't see that that England and India, both teams batted poorly, and had England played an additional spinner in the side, with Moeen Ali or with someone like Dom Bess, I just feel the match would have been pulled up a bit closer here. But with that being said, we'll take a few questions here. So Atul Pandey has a question for us. Do you think if Bess would have played, it would have been a different scenario altogether for England? I think I just mentioned that if Dom Bess or someone like Moeen Ali was there in the England playing 11, something different could have happened. But with that being said, it just didn't happen. And we saw what Aksar Patel did, picks up 11 wickets, whereas Joe Root, being a part-time off spinner, if a part-time off spinner can pick up 5 wickets, then mind you, what someone like Moeen Ali or Dom Bess would have done here. So I do believe that if England would have played an additional spinner, things could have changed. But then again, if you look at the England batsmen played down the wrong line. I mean, we saw Best getting bowled with playing for the turn, when even the previous delivery when he survived that LBW shout, he played down the wrong line. The ball wasn't turning, but he was still playing for the turn. And the very next delivery, also when he got clean bowled, the ball went through the gap between his bat and pad. So I think the batsmen are have also been at fault in this case here. So another question from Atul Pandey, and then that's what he says again. Do you think that was a team selection blunder from Root and the team management? I guess so, but then if even if your top order has played down the wrong line, as I mentioned, someone like Besso, he should have stepped up. And then they I think Rory Burns was also sent back or something. I'm not really sure about that, but then they brought in Zach Crawley. Dom Sibley was opening the innings with him, and plenty of things to talk about. And plenty of things did go wrong here. So I guess so that there was a blunder here. They should have played an additional spinner, but I don't think it would have made much of a difference. Maybe the match would have been pulled up a bit closer here, but it was a total batting failure by the England side here. And not to mention even the Indian side here. So it wasn't a great test match for the batsmen, but plenty to cherish for the bowlers here, especially someone like Joe Root and Aksar Patel here. So with that being said, I think we have just taken a full cap review of what went wrong for England, what went wrong for India. And with this, I think we should wrap up this review here, short review of what went through the test match. And obviously, test match ending in 2 days now. We have plenty to think about of what we should be doing for the next 3 days here. I myself was to travel all the way to Ahmedabad, and that is not happening. And now even the viewers, who are hoping for a wonderful weekend, even that is not going to happen. They would, someone like people working in the corporates would have expected to sit back home and watch the entire test match for 5 days, but that hasn't happened. And just like all of you, even I am upset with this, that the match has ended in just 2 days. But with India leveling the series, not leveling the series, they are leading the series now 2-1. I see that in the fourth test as well, India might just pull this off and win the series 3-1. So with that being said, I think we should call it a day for today. So before I go, do visit our website. Don't forget to visit our website here, www.crickfit.com, and also follow us on our all other social media platforms. They are mentioned below here. So do visit all the social media links mentioned here and do follow us there. And we'll try to put out more content as the series progresses here. This is Amay Petkar signing off, and I'll catch you next time.